Just going to show you really quickly how to make a graph, a line graph like this. A couple things to note. You'll see that there are no grid lines on here throughout the graph. There are these tick marks. And the tick marks are coming just on the inside, not through. There's an intervention change line. There's labels for the phases, and there's labels for the axes. The y-axis, that's going to be, you're going to label what that specifically is. I've just kind of got, this will be your count or frequency, and you'd say of the behavior that you're reporting. X-axis is going to be your time of days or sessions, time, number of days, sessions, so forth. And then you have a title for your whole graph up top. There is an intervention change line. I'll show you how we get to that. And then the lines are, there's points for each data point. There's these dots that kind of make it easy to read. And let's do it real quick. And first I'm going to just go ahead and copy this data so we don't have to type it out. I'll just adjust this really quickly so we can kind of see what we've got there. Perfect. Now, one thing I will point out, so we've got this data. So this is kind of this baseline data. Is we've got 4, 5, 5, 6, 5, and then we've got this break in the line of our data. The way we got that break in the line is by adding a number in between the 4th and the 5th sessions, or whatever this whatever you're using here for your x-axis, and then just leaving the data blank for there. So over here, just so you know how we got that, that's going to be here. To get started, you'll select the data, insert a chart. That's going to be, this will be the chart that we'll work from. Let's start by just changing the title. This would be just behavior change project, or whatever the title of your thing's going to be. I like to center this, so you can do that. The next thing we're going to do is when I double clicked there, it automatically selected customize. You'll probably initially be on this setup, but things are set up how we want them mostly. Let's start with coming down to our grid lines and ticks. We don't want grid lines, so we're going to take grid lines off, but we are going to add major ticks. We're going to put those at a step value of 1, and you can see that they're kind of a cross tick. That's what's selected. Initially, we're going to change that to inside. And we will do the same for the horizontal axis. We're going to uncheck the major grid lines. We're going to check major ticks, change that from cross to inside. And now we've got our data here. One of the things that I'm noticing is that this top data point is coming up here to the very top. To change that, we're going to come back to the vertical axis and make, up here, the vertical, so out of the grid lines and ticks up to the vertical axis. And we're going to say the maximum value is 7. Just having that slightly above where your top data point is, then you're not kind of running up here, and it will leave you room to put a data box or a text box for the intervention or baseline, whatever phase you're in, a phase box. So next, we're going to come up to the series. What we're going to do is, ideally, this is all going to be in black. You will want to add the circles, and that, I think that helps you see the data a little bit better. The line thickness, you can change if you want that thick or thin. I think that's an okay line thickness. We're looking pretty good here overall. That's pretty quick. Now to add the text boxes, I'm trying to think if there's anything else I do before adding those. You're just going to insert a drawing. First one, we'll do a text box here, and we'll just say that this is baseline, and we'll save and close, and that's just going to appear somewhere on your screen. This is the box is way too big, but we're going to just leave it for now. That's looking okay. Don't worry, it'll come back. So that's our baseline phase. Then we're going to also insert a drawing with a text box for intervention. We've got that. Save and close. We'll select that box, drag it over here. This is going to be our intervention phase, and line those up. And then lastly, we'll just put a phase change line, and that is kind of where you're implementing the intervention. We're going to also insert a drawing, and this time it's going to be one of these lines. We'll just try to make that somewhat vertical, save and close. Now that may or may not be too big. This one's a little bit too big, but I think overall we can kind of see things are looking pretty good here. I'm noticing here that I didn't change, so I'm going to double click on this graph to bring up our customization again. On our grid lines and ticks, for our horizontal axis, I don't have our every number, which we're going to want to have. So I'm going to change our horizontal axis to a step value of 1. And then we'll have all of that data there. Clicking off the box, all of our stuff's going to come back. I don't love that that's so tall. Maybe I'll just shorten it just a little bit. You can spend some time playing around with that, but it's a good graph. At this point, you can take a screenshot of the graph and insert it. You can keep your data. So that's our screenshot and should be good. So hopefully this was helpful, and yeah, thanks a lot.